quick disclaimer, this isn't like an be-all, end-all exhaustive tutorial on Lindy. This is just showing you exactly how I'm currently using it. I actually opened it up this morning with the intention of like completely redoing this automation because I am having a couple small issues. I basically set it and forget it a month and a half ago, which is also why this thing is so magical, because I was able to set it and forget it. But I figure I can probably go in and add a lot more intelligence to it. So keep in mind, this is like just how I'm currently using it, not a be-all end-all tutorial. So with that said, let's get into it. Also, the link to sign up for Lindy is in the description below. That is an affiliate link. So if you use that link, I will get a small commission, and I would greatly appreciate if you used it. Cool, so let's get into this. You can see on the screen here, I've got a few screenshots of Slack messages that Lindy sends me about the emails I'm receiving. So what's so cool about this is that it is condensing the information. Like this first email that you see here, I'm pretty sure it was like 2 or 3 paragraphs, but the Slack message it sent me is extremely concise. 2 bullet points: interested in deal 1, not interested in deal 2. And then this next section is this is where it's pulling in the context. So I think it's taking like the last 15 emails that I've had with both of these people, and it's including that context to make an action plan. So that's what it's saying here. It's so cool because it takes away all the thinking of, oh, who did I talk to about that, or what was said about that. Especially if you're in business, you know these deals can take months, some deals can take years, and I used to find myself constantly having to go back through the CRM and hoping I took good enough notes, and then usually I didn't. So then you have to dig through your emails and try and figure out who said what. This eliminates that. It's actually just like having a real human, because what makes it so smart is that that's really cool. The coolest part of this is I barely ever open my email inbox. I'll check it about once a week just to make sure it didn't make any errors, but it never has. I've never seen it archive an email that I would have rather had be in my inbox and that it notified me about. So it's really smooth. And that's the power of this is, you might be an incessant email inbox checker, just a lot of us are, and it's not productive. It's so much better to be focused on the deep work, on the big tasks, and maybe check email once a day. But this way is so much better, because this way, if an email comes through the system, I know that it's important and it maybe is somewhat urgent. And those are also conditions. You can set it to only notify you about stuff that's urgent. None of these emails that you can see on the right here, none of them are urgent. So I could actually add a condition that says only notify me if X, and then if none of these are urgent, I could probably have it send me a roundup summary at the end of the day so that it doesn't get me off track. All right, so let's jump into Lindy. This is how I currently have it set up, and it's not perfect, but I'll walk you through just really quickly how it is, and then I'll show you how easy it is to just make a new one from scratch, because there really isn't that much going on here. First of all, Lindy is really easy to use. It's just like this drag and drop flowchart style UI. And so every workflow has to start with a trigger. In this case, it's email received. One thing that also sets apart Lindy is how easy it is to integrate it with everything that you use, like Gmail. Other softwares, you have to actually get an API key from Google, and it can get a little bit complicated if you've never done that before. What I really love about Lindy is that for Gmail, for Slack, for a lot of other things, it's just sign in with Google. It takes you to the Google page. You sign in, allow, and then you're back into Lindy, and it's connected. Dead easy. So this is why I'm saying that this is the first one that I think is easy enough that anyone can do it. Because a lot of people, if it asks them for an API key, they have no idea where to go. That's fair, because it's not easy. So here's the trigger, email received. Really simple. Nothing's happening in this one, really. It's just every single email that comes in is going to trigger this. Depending on how many emails you get, this might get expensive. I get 10 to 20 emails a day, and I don't think I've gone over my plan. I don't know what I'm paying for it, but it's either the lowest or the mid-tier plan. That's something to consider. You might want to filter events, or what you might want to do ahead of time is actually just go through your email and like unsubscribe from everything that you don't want this to touch, or send all that stuff to spam, and then maybe put in a filter that only stuff that ends up in your inbox gets processed by Lindy. So there's not really much else to say about that. The next step in the tree is I have it categorize the email. So I'm using Claude. Here's the next major power of Lindy is that you just tell it exactly what you want to do. Here are the conditions I've given this category. Go down this path if this is an email from an individual, so not just from a company, either sending me something, requesting something, asking for a status update, a meeting, etc., aka a real person that I should actually respond to. What's funny is this is the first prompt that I thought to put in here, and it's been working flawlessly. Condition 2 is it's basically the opposite of the first one. If the email is any type of promotional email, newsletter, mailing list, company update, etc., go down this path. And then condition 3, this is where you can come up with more specific use cases. The subject contains SOS media queries. There's a mailing list you can sign up to that will send you out daily media queries that are in major publications. And so I've set up that one. Let me show you really quick. I've set up that one to analyze the email. It'll come through with 20 or 30 different media queries of all different types. So like one might be about real estate, one might be about Christmas gifts, one might be about retiring early, one might be about marketing. So I'd only want to respond to the marketing one. So I have it analyze the email, and if there's anything to do with marketing, entrepreneurship, or leadership, it's going to send me a Slack message and tell me which queries would be applicable to me. On the promotional side, all I have it doing is it just archives an email, so I don't even want to see those. It just gets rid of them. On this side, so this is for the actionable items. Here's where it gets the context. So the first step in this tree is it's going to this branch. It's going to search emails from that person. So it's going to get a max result of 20. It's going to return the complete body. And then what's interesting about this is I just have AI filling out all these fields. This is another thing that makes Lindy so user-friendly. It just figures out everything. It's automatically going to fill out whose emails they should look through. I'm assuming it just bases it on who sent me the email. But like all of these are just filled out by the AI, which is crazy. After it gets the context, here's what it sends me in Slack. Again, this is a prompt, so I don't have to be really specific. I have it write me a short text message about the email, include relevant context from the past emails, so then it's going to look into that search step, suggest a solution or what to reply if it's obvious, and if you actually have the information to support it, such as from the other context emails, and include a link to the email. That makes it easy for me to click into it if I want to do something with it. So all of this is just like from prompting, from using a lot of AI prompts, and from knowing like what it does bad. So just as an example, I uppercased relevant to emphasize that, because I don't want it to give me all the context from that person ever. I just want the relevant context. I've also put here, and if you actually have the information to support it, such as from the other context emails. That's because I don't want it making up random solutions unless there's a reason for it. It's basically only allowed to create solutions that are context based, or else it'll just suggest things that don't really make sense. And that's it. The next step after it sends the message is it enters this agent step, and this is actually something I'm troubleshooting right now. But the agent step is basically supposed to create this open loop where then you can reply and have it reply back and do tasks based on what you tell it. So how it's supposed to work and how it sometimes does work is it'll Slack me. If I respond, then I can ask it to draft a reply or just send a reply back. If it has a suggested reply, I can just reply and say, yep, that suggested reply looks good. Can you go ahead and send that? And so whenever you build out one of these little AI agents, you can give it skills. That's what this section is here, is you can add different skills. So this one has the skills of sending messages in Slack, observing messages in Slack, and sending replies in Gmail. And then right here for ask for confirmation, I have it saying, right now it's on always. So if I ask it to send an email, it'll reply back and say, here's the email I'm going to send. It'll show me the email body. Do you want me to send it? And then you have to confirm yes, and then it will send it. You can turn that off, but it makes me nervous just to have it automatically send emails at this point. But I think we'll get there pretty soon. So that's this entire thing. You can ignore this side of the tree. I actually don't remember why that was happening. I think I was trying to do it through Telegram instead of Slack or something. But this is it. And again, what's great about this is you can just add additional steps on the categorize step, or additional conditions, and get really specific on how you want to treat certain things from certain people. You might have a preferred clients list that needs extra special care. You could give it that list, tell it how to deal with those. Whenever the CEOs of these companies who are our clients sends us a message, it doesn't matter what it is, I want you to email me, text me, and Slack me, and just make sure I know that we got this message. So let me just create a new one just to show you really how fast you can do this. They have a ton of templates. They have a ton of templates as well, but again, it's really easy to start from scratch. We'll add the trigger. This one's going to be Gmail and email received. And so it's giving me that warning about filters, but whatever, we're going to turn it on for everything. For the next step, we're going to perform an action. This one's going to be a conditional step. I haven't used this in a while, so let me try and figure out how to figure that out. If you scroll down, it just shows you all the possible tools that you can use. So you can see it has a ton of integrations, and then it'll also show you like all of the internal things you can do. I think I might have clicked the wrong one there, so I'm going to delete this. And oh yeah, what we want here is a condition, not an action. So go down this path if it's a real person emailing me and it's something actionable. And then you can add another one if it's a spam email, marketing email, promotional material, etc, whatever. And we'll add a third one if it's a VIP from this list, and then let's like give it a list of, it could be like, this is just my email, but you can give it a list of all of the owners of your clients' companies or something like that. And then from there, you just click the plus and you tell it what to do. So for anything where you need context, obviously do context. I think if we go into Gmail, and then this is where we add that search step, and we can literally just leave it default like that. It's going to fill it all in with the AI. And then here's where we can send it into Slack. So basically you just select the connection, and then it can choose the field, or you can put in an ID, or choose the channel, but whatever. Let's just leave it blank because maybe it just knows exactly where to put the message. Then after message sent, oh wait, we want to change the prompt for this though, for the message. So again, you can just leave that field filled by AI. That does work. If you want to get more specific, then prompt AI, and then you write your prompt in. Here's where we can be like, based on the context of past emails with this contact, write a draft response and action plan. And then here's where we'll include a URL to the email or something like that. So just basic. That's so easy. And at this point, this is working. If we switch that on, the next email I receive, it's going to run through this. And that's crazy because that was like a 2-minute setup. Now, granted, I've done it before, but now you can just watch this video and then you'll have basically done it before too. From here, you'll want to probably send yourself some test emails, make it look like emails that you would actually receive, and then just see how it handles it, and then come back in and tweak the conditions, the search step, tweak the message prompt step, and just get it working the way you want it. The first time I set this up, it probably took me half an hour to an hour. And like I said, I set this up probably mid-December. It's February 3rd today. So that's a month and a half where I set it up and totally forgot about it and haven't checked my email besides just like quickly scanning through to see if it made any egregious errors, which it never has. Another cool thing too is you can see, I think if you go to the tasks, yeah, this is where it is. If you go into the tasks panel on that flow, you can see every single time it has ran. So we can see here's an email for a Chase credit card offer. It went down the promotional email route and it archived it. Cool. Here's like the media queries one. So you can see here it recognized that it was a media queries email and it sent me a Slack message and it summarized each query that's relevant to me. So that's just another example. Again, the link is in the description. It's an affiliate link. I'll get a small commission if you sign up through that, so I would greatly appreciate it if you do. If you have any questions or want to hop on a call about Lindy, I do have a lot of other stuff that I'm doing with it. I've been setting up these post writing bots. Like besides the email assistant, I've spent many hours building stuff out in Lindy to make my life easier as a marketing agency owner, as a business owner. So if you have any questions about usage for Lindy, want more tutorials on it, just leave a comment and I'll be happy to make those videos.